wish somebody would have told me before I got into the entertainment industry. So if you haven't already watched the first video, make sure that you go ahead and watch it. It is linked right up above or below. One of those. Make sure you watch that video first, and then come back and watch this video, because you have to watch them in order because I said so. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, turn on my post notifications, and yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so number one, this one sort of goes back to something I said in the very first video about only taking constructive criticism from people who have constructed something. But if you're going to take classes, there are a lot of people out here who have done one show or have been in one play or have had one job as a casting director, and then they all of a sudden want to call themselves teachers or, you know, coaches or whatever the case may be. Don't get bamboozled. Don't get bamboozled. Especially in these big cities like Atlanta, Los Angeles, because everybody wants to be something, okay? Only take classes and coaches from people who have been where you want to be. Okay, so if you want to be an actor, don't have an acting coach who's never been in a TV show, or an acting coach who only had one extra role on a TV show in 1997, and it's 2021. Okay, let's make sure that we're learning from people who actually have something to teach us, and not just people who are trying to sell us false dreams and false hopes because they couldn't make it in the dreams that they wanted to make it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay. Number two. Okay, this one is sort of for all of my artists, not just for my actors. So I write my own films, I produce my own films, I cast, I direct, I act on them, I do it all. And when you're doing that, you always have to find, locations. You have to find locations. You have to feed them. You have to, IMDb credit, all of this stuff that you have to do when you are creating. There is always a less expensive way to do it. Now, when I say this, I don't mean that you should be cheap, okay? I don't mean that you should be cheap. I don't mean that you should cut corners and you should make it so that your film is not the best that it can be. But there's always a less expensive way to do it and create quality work. So, for example, I have created full scenes, that have gotten, mad views and gotten me a lot of exposure on my cell phone. Okay? Download the app, iMovie. There's always a way to do it that's less expensive. There's always a way, and I talked about this in the first video, you can always get a headshot, less expensive. You can always find somebody to be your reader or to do a self-tape for less expensive, okay? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't pay people for their work. I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to find quality work. But what I'm saying is that especially when you're first starting off and all of your income doesn't come from your craft yet, notice I said yet because it will one day. But when all of your income doesn't come from your craft yet, you want to be smart about what you're investing into, okay? And even though you want to invest into yourself, you have to be smart and use wisdom. So, for example, if your paycheck is $700, you don't want to then go and pay $400 for headshots, $300 for somebody to do, a self-tape and all this extra stuff, and then you don't have any money to eat, okay? So let's be smart as artists and realize that you still have to live. And even though the goal is to that we can make income solely from our gifts and solely from, what we were called to do in this world, it doesn't always happen that way immediately. So I wish somebody would have told me that it is okay to not spend racks and hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands when I'm first starting out, and that it's okay to find people to do it for less, and it doesn't make your content or your creation or whatever it is that you're working on any less valid than somebody who spent $1,000 on it. Okay, there are Oscar films that have been shot completely on an iPhone. Yeah. Remember last video I was telling you guys there are people who have literally gotten booked and busy off of a selfie for a headshot. Yeah. You can go to your local college and find a writer, collab with that writer. You can pay that writer $50 and they'll be a little college kid. They'll be happy. They'll be happy if you take them out for coffee in the morning. Okay, so I'm not saying don't compensate people for your work, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't get quality work, but I really wish that somebody would have told me that just because I pay less for it doesn't mean that my content or my whatever I'm working on is any less than somebody else, okay? So always do the research. Always do the research. Yes, invest in yourself. Yes, spend money on what you love, but you can always find it for less, okay? Number 3, and this one wasn't an easy one to learn for me, but it took me realizing that I shouldn't be doing it for entertainment. I should be doing it for studying purposes. Okay? Watching today's content and watching what people are putting out today in short films on YouTube, movies, podcasts, audiobooks. Inhaling today's content is imperative if you are an artist. And this is why. Because as artists, our goals are usually to meet people where there's a need. So if you're a comedian, your goal is to meet people where there's a need for laughter. If you like drama, your goal is to meet people where they need to feel something. If you're a painter, your goal is to meet people where they need to see a certain type of art that makes them feel something. As artists, as creatives, as actors, singers, dancers, business owners, okay? Entrepreneurs, our goal is to meet people where they have a need and to meet that need in a way that nobody else can meet that need. So that's why it is imperative as an actor, as an artist, that you are inhaling today's content, but not inhaling it as a form of entertainment, inhaling it to see what are people watching? What are people looking for? What do people need? What do people want? What can I do that can fill that spot, that little spot right there? That little spot right there that nobody has filled yet? What can I do as an artist to reach that area, okay? And so inhaling today's content is imperative. It's imperative, and not just for entertainment. You have to realize what the difference is between inhaling for entertainment and inhaling for your creative purposes. So when I'm watching something just for entertainment, I'm not looking at lighting. I'm not looking at how the actors are making me feel. I'm not looking at, who the casting directors are. And I'm not looking at what they have on. And I'm not looking at the different shots. And I'm not looking at, how this actor cried at this moment. I'm just looking at it purely because I want to be entertained. But on the other hand, when I'm looking at it because I need an idea or because I'm trying to fill a void or because I'm trying to, find new things to create, I am looking at all those things and more. And you will find that the more you look at things for educational purposes, even when you're looking at it for entertainment, you'll subconsciously start looking at things for your educational purposes. And it'll help you grow even more as an artist because you'll always be looking for that void in whatever you're watching and figuring out how you can fill that void as an artist. Okay? So it is imperative. And I wish somebody would have told me this sooner because there are so many films and things that I've now had to go back and watch and realize, oh, wait, I can do this, but I'm going to tweak it and reach this group of people that didn't really get what they needed from this specific thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you should always be inhaling today's content. Social media, YouTube, podcasts, like I said, all of your social medias, especially in your specific niche, whether that's acting, singing, dancing, writing, whatever it is, you should always be inhaling that content, okay? Number 4, and this was a huge one. I remember one time as a younger actor, I went to this thing with my friend. It was like an actors meetup or whatever. And there were like 4 casting directors there. And I remember walking in and seeing these people. And now in this event, it was at a restaurant. So people are supposed to be eating. I remember walking in and seeing people lined up, just waiting for a handshake with these casting directors. And I remember thinking to myself, this is disgusting. I don't want to be so thirsty for an opportunity that I'm going to stand in line just to shake the hand of a person who's not even going to remember my name in the next 30 seconds. I don't want to sit here and beg for somebody to recognize and realize the talents and the gifts and the power that I have who's not even going to remember me 30 seconds later. What? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I wish somebody, but when in my younger ages, I would have done that. And it took me a while to realize that you cannot beg your way into connections. You cannot beg your way into rooms. You cannot beg your way into roles. Don't beg anyone for a connection or for a seat at their table. Okay? Have dignity. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to connect with people that can bring you higher in your career where you're going. But you should never be in a position where you are begging for a connection, because the connections will come when you need them. Number 9, and this is one that I just kind of added in here. You don't need a niche. You don't need a specific niche. I know that the world will tell you, and social media influencers and, social media managers will tell you, you need a niche, you need a niche. You don't need a niche. What you need is to be 100% authentically you, doing whatever it is that you feel like doing that day or that year or that in that season, in that movie. You need to be 100% authentically you. And the people who are for you, it doesn't matter what you're talking about or what you're creating, those people will follow you wherever you go. So you don't need a specific niche. What is that? Oh, that's my lip gloss. It has some black stuff on it. I think it was eyeliner. Anyways, people don't follow niches. People follow people that they like and that they look up to. So just be yourself. You don't need a niche. Okay? You don't need a niche. Number 10, and this is my last one. I think is this number 10? 11? Something like that. Whatever. If you can do something else in this world and you can be happy doing it, and you can wake up every morning and you can be okay with what you're doing, if there's anything else in this world that you can do that will be easier, and you know that you can do that for the rest of your life and be happy, you need to do that. You need to do that. Because what I don't want, and what I see a lot of, is people getting into this entertainment thing because it's easy, or because they think it's easy, or because they think it's a good way to make money, or because they think that, whatever the case may be. Actors, true artists, true actors, true creatives, they will go through hell and high water, be broke, spend all their money, sleep in a car, eat from the dirt, ruin relationships because they had they will do whatever they need to do to get to where they are going. So if this entertainment industry is hard, and I know we hear it every single day, you are going to hear no more than you hear yes. You're going to get shut down. You are going to be treated like slap shit sometimes. You are going to cry. You're going to beg God. You are going to have nights where you cannot sleep because all you are doing is just thinking about the future. It is hard. It is hard. It is depressive. It gives you anxiety. It is hard to really do this thing, especially when you are starting from the ground up. So I mean this with everything in me, because I have seen people come into this thing and be broken, and everything in them is broken. And then they're moving on to something else. So I mean this with everything in me. If you know in your heart that you can do something else in this world and you will be happy doing that for the rest of your life, whatever that may be, go and do that instead. But if you wake up every day and one of the first things on your mind is this dream, if you go to sleep at night and you're dreaming about this dream, if you know that you would do anything for this dream, if you know that you could have $1 million in the bank, but you weren't doing this thing, you would still be miserable, then you fight You fight tooth and nail. You pray, you cry, you work, you do what you have to do for this dream. Because it is hard. And I wish somebody would have literally sat me down and explained to me the severity of how deep that statement is and just how hard it is to make it in this industry. When you are a true creative, that lives to create and change the world through art. If you are a true creative, then you fight for what you want and you fight for this dream. But if you can do anything else in this world, go do that, please. Save yourself years of hurt, of pain, of crying, of all of it. Save yourself. Because if you can, you should. If you can, you should. And you shouldn't be ashamed of that. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's my little 2 cents. That's my part 2. I just want to take a minute to look at this because I do look good. I just want to put that out there. I do look good. I'm about to go get some coffee, get ready for rehearsal. If you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and comment what you think. Comment what you think about, you know, what I've said. If you're in the entertainment industry and you have some nuggets, drop them in the comments below. And, you know, let's share. Let's all talk about it. You know what I mean? So make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.